All right, guys, welcome back. This is Luigi from Off Market Deals, and I have my partner Ernesto from
Ernie the title guy.
All right, guys, and this is REI Events presents one of our featured sponsors for September. We have here Richard.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Richard Carey with Apex Buys Houses and Caliber Trust.
Awesome. You are actually one of our featured sponsors this month, and just wanted to go ahead and thank you once again for your sponsorship. And I'm gonna pass it over to Henry. He's gonna ask you a couple questions, and yeah.
Yeah, so I know you've participated with us in a few events in the past with REI events. Like, what has been your experience with that?
I mean, the events are truly amazing. It's a great opportunity to network, meet people, sharpen your business tools, because that's the goal. With real estate, you have to work with everyone. And the more people that you can have in your network, the more deals you're going to do, the more money you're going to make.
Absolutely. Yeah, these events are pretty cool. I mean, it's a cool dynamic. Luigi had got it started, I believe, with Henry. They did like an event or two at Henry's office.
Yeah, it was a total informal meetup. I literally went to his office and I told him we should do an event at your office. And like 2 weeks later we did it. I think 60, 70 people showed up. And I think, Ernie, you saw it on Instagram.
I saw it on Instagram.
You DM'd me. And you're like, hey, I can help you guys get structured. I can help you guys get organized. I got big venues. And I think that's how you joined the team. And now you've been here ever since.
So you kind of motivated me. So I've been putting events together for real estate through the title company since 2012, right?
Yeah.
And after the pandemic started, I had up to 1,500 people showing up to an event. And all like real estate related. What we're doing now is more like of a investor wholesaler niche. But I saw the event and I saw a bunch of wholesalers and stuff getting together, and I'm like, dude, like it motivated me to just get back into it, start putting events together, and kind of like teamed up. And what we've done from there, we're like at a year and a half now.
Yeah.
We're like at a year and a half into doing
like
this
15 events in, 15, 16 events in, and as you can see, the events just keep getting better and better. I think the last one also, before that, we were at the wharf, so it's pretty
I
legit.
think that's where we met.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, so I know you have about $400 million or so in flipping transactions, right?
That's right.
Talk to us about that.
Wow, so I started buying and flipping properties probably about 8 years ago. And before that, my background is I'm an attorney. And so I was working with all these investors and seeing them make all this money, and I said, well, if they can do it, why can't I do it?
Absolutely.
And that's when I kind of made the transition slowly but surely. My first property I flipped was actually out in Riviera Beach. This was in 2014, 2015. I bought a house for $5,000.
$5,000?
$5,000. Ended up flipping it for $45,000. That same house today is worth about $300,000. So it's been a very interesting time being able to use my legal acumen and figure out, all right, how to structure a deal, what's a deal, and that's what it's allowed myself and my business partner, Josh, to be able to flip so many properties.
Got it. So you're about 8 years or so doing this.
Yeah, that's correct.
You guys have done, $400 million is a lot of money in transactions. Like what's the secret sauce here?
The secret sauce, so before I was an attorney, I was actually a computer science guy. So we have some proprietary software that I wrote that really allows us to pinpoint deals and have access flow. And we have our team of sales guys that, they're just, door knocking, calling, and we're sourcing the deals for them. And then we put up the money.
That's pretty cool. So right now I'm close to a year into building out technology ourselves, all in like the pre-foreclosure and probate space.
Absolutely.
We own, probably just similar to you, like we own our technology, our back-end systems, and we've pretty much started hiring people to work with us throughout the entire state of Florida when it comes to pre-foreclosure. And we mainly look for people to knock on doors, because like the back-end stuff, like text messaging, cold calling, stuff like that, where we turn a cold lead into a warm lead, we could do that all in the back end. But what I see works best is that face-to-face interaction when it's dealing with that distressed homeowner, because everybody's calling, trying to make a lowball offer, or texting or sending something in the mail. But showing up to these properties and kind of like showing these people like, hey, we care, we have solutions for you, and kind of hearing them out, because some of these people want to save their home.
Correct.
And chances are they can't save their home, but they're trying to, and that's what you're supposed to do, right? If you're trying to stay above float. So I kind of like to hear these people out and kind of guide them as far as I can if that's what they're trying to do, because I know that along the way, 8 out of 10 times they're going to reach a point where they can't save their home and they got to be ready to sell. So we've kind of put this software together. We're sourcing the leads. We're kind of like fetching data from all over the place and creating like what is the perfect lead of what we're looking for, and kind of automating that, where we're kind of like just sending it out to agents working with us, sourcing them like you're saying, and just getting people to knock on doors and doing something pretty similar. So that's pretty cool.
I mean, that's exactly right. I think there's data points. And, my background is computers, being able to find out what those data points are and then putting them in an accurate way where you can do point scoring and figuring out, all right, what's going to really qualify this lead. I can give you an example for a deal that we just bought today. This was a property over in Fort Myers. The homeowner actually lived in Tampa. Our office is here in Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach. So then what do? We hire a notary. The notary goes and talks to that person. They transfer the phone. He's at the house. We tell the notary to give him the phone, and we do the sale over the phone. That allows us to be in one central location, but reach so many different arms. I mean, the technology allows us to do that.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So I think that's one way that we've really been able to stay ahead of the game and stay ahead of the curve. We're doing on average 150 to 175 properties a year, where we're actually buying, taking them down, and then we're figuring out what's going to be our disposition strategy. Is it going to be that we're going to buy and hold? Are we going to wholesale it out to another wholesaler? Are we going to just buy and fix it and flip it? There's a lot of different trenches out there, and we like to pretty much cover all those.
So buy and hold. I hear you about 250 properties right now.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love to hear that.
Yeah, so it's something that's funny because we didn't really start buying and holding property until about 2.5 years ago. Wow. And we've been able to amass that much in 2.5 years. And Josh and I, we joke about it and we say, look, if we would have been doing this, if we would have kept that $5,000 house instead of flipping it out, I mean, we'd definitely be retired by now. So it's interesting to take those different deals and figuring out, even with the increase in interest rates, there's still deals out there that it makes sense to buy and hold. If you buy it right, you can usually buy and hold it.
Right. It's all about picking up the right deal with the right amount of equity.
That's it.
Yeah.
You got to have buy and hold it's an equity play. You have two options, right? You buy this house, it's got $100,000 worth of equity. You can either cash it out and sell it and take your $100,000 equity right now, or put a tenant in there, collect your $400 or $500 a month in rent, and realize that you're getting 3.5%, 7% appreciation, annually. In some different markets, you might be getting 10% appreciation. So
you got to follow this guy.
No, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
You're on property number 7 right now.
Exactly.
I'm horrible at this. I get so caught up in flipping. I'm a volume guy when it comes to flipping deals, whether my disposition process is going to be to either wholesale it or to fix and flip it myself. But when I see the money, my defect is that
take the money.
Let's take the money and run. And I haven't started building a portfolio. I have like 2 properties right now. But I should have much more. I've been in this game for quite some time, but I get so caught up in give me the money and move on to the next one. I tell them all the time, I'm like, dude, you're slapping me up right now. You have 7 properties. You're doing great because you haven't been in the business that long either yourself, right?
Yeah. No, well, that's what I started in. I started being a landlord first, and then I recently got my license about 2-3 years ago. So that's when I was able to scale where I'm at now.
That's great.
Yeah. No, I hate seeing money in the bank. Like once I have like $100,000, I'm already looking for my next buy and hold, my next burst strategy. Because I don't like to see money in the bank. I spend it on.
It's not gonna grow there. It's not gonna grow there. You need money in the bank to make the moves, but the rest should be out of the street, giving you a nice return.
Reinvesting.
So we're in the middle of hurricane season. There's a hurricane right now that's coming through Florida. It's lining up, like it looks like it's gonna be pretty active. You're sitting on 250 properties. You're sitting on like 7 or 8 properties. Like, what are you doing to prepare for something like this?
So it's been crazy. So, technically we're usually rehabbing probably 10 properties at a time.
Wow. Okay.
And so we had to pull all our guys off all the rehabs. Everything just comes to a grinding halt. Even the guys on the East Coast that work for us have to come over to the West Coast, and we're just boarding properties up left and right. Not all our properties have shredders, so we're doing a lot of plywoods and.
That's what I'm gonna ask you right now. I'm sure
It's been
drilling part, plywood through.
and it's one of those things where it could hurt you if you don't have that line item in your budget, because we live in Florida, and every year we may get a hurricane. You might get 2 hurricanes. You might get 3. You might get 0. But you always have to have that line item in your budget for that property, saying, all right, I've got $400, $500 in reserves to make sure that I can pay someone to go board this property if I have to. I think that's important, because with the Burr method,
Yeah, you're in the property with no money.
I love it, but you're into the property with no money.
I love that.
You have no money out of pocket, but let's say, your tenant, you miss 1 month of rent collection from your tenant, it could throw off your whole entire budget. So you got to have reserves.
You have to have reserves.
And that's why I think people that are buying and renting, you have to buy and wholesale. You got to buy, fix, and flip, because you still need that immediate cash flow. You can't just be sitting on, $30 million worth of property with $100,000 in the bank.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, I'm like, base your business off of acquisitions. Like, fall in love with the acquisition process, because that's going to bring all the opportunity. And at some point, you're going to be able to make more decisions than just wholesaling. You're going to be able to buy and hold, fix and flip. Once you start doing that and you learn how to leverage hard money, it's not just using hard money, it's knowing how to leverage that hard money, right? Like, a lot of times I'm buying these properties and we're walking out of closings with money in our side. So we're technically getting paid to purchase properties when the right amount of equity is there.
Absolutely.
So as long as you're building like an acquisition machine and you're falling in love with that process, the opportunities are endless.
No, I agree. I think working with a lot of people that are buying and holding or buying and flipping, they don't like to work with wholesalers. I love to work with wholesalers, because at the end of the day, I tell Luigi, I said, I've got my number. Whatever you make over that, I don't care.
Done.
That's you.
I think
So what do you do? You already have when you present it to Luigi, you already locked in with the seller?
I'm already locked in. I'm already closing, or I've already bought the property, and I'm just like, hey, move this property.
I love Richard. When I met him, I was like, oh, so how's the deal? Do you have it under contract? And he's like, no, brother, I own it. So I'm like, oh, this is even better. He owns the property. I have I don't have to worry about anybody going around me trying to, get the contract or anything. And I think you sent it to me at 9 in the morning, right? I was like 9, very close. And I think at 1:30 you had a wire for my buyer.
It was amazing.
I think I sold it within 5 hours. I got it done. So I love that story to tell,
No,
because
that's great.
Yeah.
And what you've done a really good job in is leveraging other relationships with other wholesalers and building a nice buyer's list.
then that network that I have, all I did was just grab your deal, put it on my group chat, and then I got an offer immediately.
No, and that's
the numbers are there.
That's what I love. Everyone needs to make money. At the end of the day, we all need to make money, and it's got to work for everyone. And
this is my number.
That's my number.
figure it out.
Whatever you make over that, good for you. Because look, you're seeing something that I didn't see, and more power to you. I have my number, but I'm still happy with my number.
Absolutely.
So that's the goal.
I love it. Bring me more properties, please. I'm ready to this, folks.
So what type of properties do you target? I know you have your systems and all this stuff.
So we primarily target a lot of single family homes. We buy all throughout the state. There's certain, obviously better markets.
Is there a certain distress point that you guys are after?
So
or there's many distress points.
Yeah, it's all about it's every deal is a little bit different, right? Yeah. So it could be if I'm in Fort Myers and there's roof damage or something like that. One strategy that we've actually found, is kind of a secret sauce, but I'll go ahead and share it with here right now, is if that property's in foreclosure, there's forced place insurance on it. So we'll get the homeowner to actually file a claim under the forced place insurance. They sign the claim for the roof to us. We're doing the work. We buy it. We've already bought the house, and then we get the proceeds.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So that's one way that we've been really acquiring properties, where it's saying, all right, well, that property, no one else is going to pay because the price is a little bit too high, but we're using the insurance money to leverage our purchase.
That's great.
So, but as far as a certain point, it could be, obviously you're in the Southeast Florida, the prices are going to be a little bit higher. So we like to be around that $300,000-$400,000. That's a sweet spot for us. If we're, buying. If we're on the West Coast, we might be more like 250 to 4. And then if we're up in Jacksonville, we're going to be that 150 to 200, that kind of price point. Those are where the markets actually move real easy. We don't like to sit on properties. I don't want the $1 million property that I have to put $300,000 into and hopefully make $100,000.
Right.
That's not my model. That works for some people. People want those home runs.
Well, when you're in front of so much opportunity like you are, because you've scaled this business, I mean, you don't have to settle for that type of deal. You could pick and choose what.
I want to pick and choose, and I want the deal where I like the safe bet. Just like you said, you love, hey, if I'm going to sell and make this money right now, I'm going to take the cash.
Yeah.
I want that option on every deal.
Absolutely.
And it's just got to be, I don't want to take the cash right now. I prefer to just have it as an equity play.
Correct.
And from an ARV standpoint, what do you buy? Like for me, for example, I'm buying at 50% ARV. If it's not 50% ARV, if I'm not making $100,000 in equity at the time of purchase, like I'd rather just assign it. I'd rather just assign everything. So kind of like from that, like what would you say? 50% ARV, 50 cents on the dollar, 60 cents on the dollar, 70 cents on the dollar. What would you say?
I would like to say we're probably about 55%.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, very close on the money there.
What we like to be able to
close on the
do
money.
is when I'm done rehabbing the property, let's say I'm into it for 70%, I'm pulling every dollar that I put in the property.
Nice.
We do
Yeah.
So that's the goal.
That's the key. That's
And if I can't be there, if I'm going to be at 60, 65%, well, that's a wholesale deal.
That's a wholesale deal. Exactly.
It's maybe a fix or flip, but I'm not going to put all my eggs in the basket where I'm going to have cash tied up in that property. It's not the goal.
Right.
People always complain to me, oh, how do you get deals 50% in ARV? How do you get deals? That's because we're analyzing deals from 7 in the morning to 11 o'clock at night every single day. So, well, me personally, 7 days a week, I'm analyzing deals. 7 a.m. to 11 o'clock at night. And whenever a deal meets my criteria, I'm closing on it. So
I mean, I see your post, man. You're up at 5 a.m. I'm up at 5 a.m. too. So the early bird does get the worm,
Many days, I like to go to the gym really early.
That's when I'm
And
going.
I'm in there, I'm cranking, and I'm on the phone with this guy. We're having meetings, brainstorming, talking. And we're going.
coffee's for closers, man. Coffee's for closers for
No,
sure.
that's the truth. I mean, I do more good work before 9 a.m. than the rest of my day. And I think it's important because I'm dealing with my team, I'm dealing with my staff, I'm dealing with my crews out in the field. All that's happening before 9 a.m. Because at 9 a.m. I'm in my office, and then I'm working with the individuals that are in my office. Now we're, property management mode, crisis mode, looking at deals, that kind of stuff. But that's the problem with silent period. But if I'm going to grow the business, it's got to be between that 5 and 9 a.m.
5 and 8, yeah. I feel like that's the power hour.
It is.
That's the power hour for sure.
And not a lot of people like to do that, but you guys are both very successful, and you guys have that same discipline. That's what's important.
Yeah, discipline is key. I mean, I bring a lot of people on board to work with me, but so few make it,
I know.
And I try to be so clear from the very beginning. This is not easy. Prepare yourself, give yourself a good 6 months to really feel that you're in a flow, you have a nice pipeline, you've started to make money, you got deals cooking that you could see more money. Like, give yourself a good 6 months to get yourself going. If you can't give the 6 months, don't even come on board, because you're gonna stress yourself. You're gonna quit. I explain it as well as I can, and people are like, I got this. I'm prepared.
They don't
I'm
got
ready.
it. They don't got it.
They don't last, man. They don't. I don't know what it is, but they just, it's not for everybody. Like, not everybody could get told no all day long.
That's right. You get told no, and then you got to move on to the next deal. I mean,
Some people are like, man, this is never going to work. I'm getting told no all day long. I've been in this for a month or so. This isn't really working in my favor. This is not going to amount to anything. And it's like, man, you were so close to your yes.
That's right.
Like, you have no clue how close you were to your yes, because it's a numbers game. It's a
numbers game.
Yeah, you don't need to know much of what you're doing. If you could pick up a phone and dial, you're going to find somebody that wants to sell their home. Like,
Absolutely.
Like, you don't even need to know the numbers. Like, you could pass that on to the next person.
It's gonna happen.
And it's gonna happen with that consistency. But some people see it, some people don't.
Yeah, and for us, not everyone's going to like everyone, right? You might not be someone's flavor over the phone, but the person sitting next to you may be. So you have to realize that just because they're saying no doesn't mean they want to sell. Maybe you called them when they just woke up, and this other person's calling them 10 minutes later, and so they've had their cup of coffee. you never know what's going through the person's mind on the other
And
end.
you're absolutely right.
That's
Like
a good point.
we're analyzing these calls in the back end, and we'll make a decision like this conversation isn't flowing, and we'll tell, hey Louis, you're pulling out of that deal.
Absolutely.
You're pulling out now, Maria. We're throwing you in. You know, and she'll take over from there and just change the
Yeah,
voice
I've
from
done
a
that.
male to a female, from a aggressive personality to a passive personality. Let's catch the flow. So something we're doing right now, everybody in our team is taking like a personality test.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you do that?
Oh yeah, no, that's a requirement. It's a
Yeah.
requirement before we bring anyone on. You got to take a personality test because number one, it's going to be how can I coach you? I need to know what your insights are and how you actually process things.
Right.
Number two, I have to know how you're going to be on the phone, and then you have to understand how you're going to be on the phone. If you have an aggressive type personality, sometimes you need to be say, all right, recognize that, but learn that sometimes you have to be passive. Listen to the person.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing in sales.
Team placements too. We use these
Understanding
tests
that.
for maybe I had a vision with somebody and I saw they're a completely different personality than what I wanted to bring them on board for, right? But I end up putting them in a different department completely because their personality, they're gonna shine better elsewhere, you know? So personality tests are huge for us, especially that we have so many different teams that we're delegating tasks to. And it's just about growth, man. That's what it comes down to. Is-
So where do you guys see yourself in 5 years in the real estate game?
Man, so I'm 41 years old. I have my goal is like I'm trying to exit out of the game at 50, right?
Absolutely.
The game is in me. I'm never gonna. People tell me all the time, like, but why would you retire? What is it? I don't know. Call it retire. I'm just like stepping back, you know, and playing in what I want to play with when I want to play. But if I need to go, if I want to go travel for the next 6 months, I want to be able to do that and leverage portfolio. So I'm really pushing myself right now to buy and hold, right?
Absolutely.
I love that for you. I love that for you.
Yes, I'm really pushing
I love that
myself
for you,
to
man.
buy and hold.
It's
and,
never too late, man.
it hasn't worked. Like last week, I saw the deal. I'm like, this is a great buy and hold, and I'm like, I'm gonna fix and flip it. So I failed on that one. I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna fix maybe the next one.
Yeah.
But I'm really trying to just get myself in that rhythm of buying and holding because I do want I do want that cash flow coming in, and I want to. When I turn 50, 9 years from now, I want to be able to just pull back a little bit and kind of like just
And travel,
reap the
travel.
benefits of all the hard work because this is a grind. And what I've done well was I started this as a hustle. I started in the title business, and this was a hustle to me. Like meet an agent, take them out, get a deal from them, provide them good service, see if they'll send you one more. Who can they refer you to? Then I landed in the wholesale space by an agent sending me a short sale. And I knew nothing about wholesaling, but I knew this wasn't a short sale. So I saw there was like a lot of equity in this deal. So I called a buddy of mine that's a wholesaler, and he's like, hey, yeah, we could move that deal real quick. Long story short, we made like somewhere between $92,000 to $98,000 on that deal. And I'm gonna start entertaining this space, right? But even when I entertained this space, I started as a dispo guy because I came with a really nice buyer's list because I'm in the title business, and most of my clients were hard money lenders and investors. So little did I know, I was already like that deal that we wholesaled. I found the buyer, I did the closing on it. Like I did everything but structure the deal, right? On the wholesale side. And I'm like, man, like I made one phone call and I sold it to the guy because I already knew he was buying in that area. And I entered that space, but still I entered the space hustling, like find a deal, find a buyer, move on to the next one and go. And I'm like, this is not the life I want. Yeah. Like I gotta turn this into a business. So I started shifting my mind and kind of like, I don't care. I'll let 10 deals, I'll let 20 deals fall apart and I'll take the hit. But I'm not getting involved. I'm gonna put people in position and I'm gonna guide them on what they need to do. And from there, I really started this process where I'm probably like 18 people in my team right now.
Oh, wow. That's
great.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So within the different companies and different teams, right? I have different projects going on, but I've mastered delegating. I'm gonna put something together real quick. I'm gonna push it forward, and it's just delegating to a team all day long, and that's really allowed me to like scale my business. You know, so I kind of like went from entering this as a hustle to like, I got to start getting out of this. I got to evolve into, I need a business to run itself for me. Like if I got to show up and I got to work, I have a job, right?
That's right.
But if I could pull away from this and this is going to make me money, I have a business, right? So I'm in that process right now of getting this business to scale, and through that process, while it's doing that, I'm looking for those buy and hold properties and getting into that while the business is kind of just like doing its thing.
It goes back when once you have money, okay, what becomes your currency? And your time becomes your currency.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, because now, okay, you have money, so now what? Now what you want back is your time, and I think that goes back to, you know what I mean, like.
Yeah,
your goals and stuff like that.
The hard part is from being the hustler to transition, like knowing when to transition to being an entrepreneur, right?
Correct.
And I don't consider I don't consider a hustler an entrepreneur. I consider an entrepreneur somebody who could has a vision, could put people together, could delegate to them, and everybody's in the same vision. Trying to achieve the same dream and moving it forward, and you sit back and you're like, look what I've created, right? Like that's an entrepreneur. The hustler's more like you gotta move to make that money, which is great. I love hustling. I'll never stop hustling.
That's right.
It's in my blood, but it's so sweet to evolve something into like creating a bunch of hustlers working for you and delegating to them and scaling it. So that's where I'm at now. And the next step is to just build that portfolio so that I could have that exit strategy where I just chill out a little bit.
And you build that cash flow.
Cash flow.
That's that positive and that positive cash flow where it's just running kind of remote and kind of running by itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the business owner, that is something that we struggle with. At my office is understanding, and we actually had a meeting yesterday about this, and it's understanding that, look, right now, we have probably about 25 people, and it's my team is running me, and that's the frustration, right? So being able to step back and be able to understand why is your team running you, and how do I really become the business owner again, that's something that it takes effort. It takes skill, and it takes a very dedicated mindset to kind of shift that focus.
Yeah.
We've even talked about, Josh and myself, we've talked about, hey, look, we've got an office manager. We're just going to step out of the office for 2 weeks. Wow. We're going to be unreachable. Let's see what's going to happen. Just like you said, I don't care if I lose 10, 20 deals. I need for this to actually run itself, because like you said, at the end of the day, I want to be able to step back. Yeah. I want to be able to shut my phone off for 2 weeks, even a day, and realize that my business isn't going to fall apart.
Absolutely. So what I've done is I've built the whole business virtual. People join my team all the time, and I'm like, hey, we're going to do everything through Zoom. We're going to communicate through phone calls and WhatsApp. But I'm 100% against working with humans in my office with me. And the reason is because they do more when they don't have access to you. Like if I'm in this office right now and I have this full of salespeople, every time they have any thought in their head, they're running to my desk, right? And by the end of the day, like, dude, I haven't worked, but I'm here, like, I've turned this into like a customer service operation. I just sit here to have people come up to me and answer things that they already know. Yeah. And they just don't know they know it. That's because their instinct is coming to you. Yep. So I've gone completely virtual.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I've gone virtual. I'm like, when I'm in my office, I'm on my time, and I'm doing what I need to. If I want to look at the phone, I look at it. Most of the time it's on mute, so I could run my things forward, and I build leaders within those teams. I'm like, you're responsible for that guy. Like, you know everything you need to know already. Like, guide that guy, and don't let that guy take over your day. Like, because you're still responsible for your job. So I'm kind of like teaching them all how to kind of just be independent on their own right now, because I don't work when I have too many people in my office with me. It's frustrating. When somebody tells me, "Hey, I'm going to come to the office and work today," in my head, I'm like, man, it's not going to be a productive day. Like, maybe for them, but not for me, you know?
Yeah, I always joke, I have a do not disturb sign on my door. And I always say, I think everyone in my office is blind, because they literally just go right past that sign and come into my office. Like, you guys didn't see it, so I completely understand that.
Yeah. I even, So the last time I had like a live team was right before COVID, and in my application, like in really big bold letters, something that they had to like sign and agree on was, when my office door is closed, you do not disturb, no matter what. If it's an emergency, call 911. Do you agree? And like, so like when they'll still do it. I'm like, dude, you don't remember when you signed?
Yeah.
Like, you signed this document. Like, did you not read it? Yeah, man. I'm really big on that. I'm really big on that, but I guess it's kind of, they both have their challenges, because building everybody virtual, like, it's
You
not
gotta have some
easy.
trust.
Yes. Yeah.
I think trust is a big thing, and basically the systems and everything.
Yeah, it puts you in a whole other
Mhm.
aspect of what you're doing, because now it's all about like systems, technology, keeping people working together.
Protecting your software.
And, but still making them feel that they're part of a culture, of a community, of a business, you know? So it's really hard, especially when you have somebody in Colombia, somebody here, somebody in Venezuela. Everybody's communicating, there's deals that are live. Like, it's important that they feel like they're working just like if they were sitting in this office together, with access to each other. So,
I agree.
but I love it. I think it's great.
No, I also run a virtual office, and I would never go back. I love it. Yeah.
Now, I know you have a boat, right? We
Yeah.
were just talking about this boat.
What do you have? I love yours. You have a Contender, right?
No, a concept.
A concept.
A
I
30-foot
love
concept.
it. I love it. We've been on the boat a few times. It's amazing.
Like, yours is a Nautic Star.
Yeah, 26-foot Nautic Star. Love getting out on the water.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, one of the biggest perks since I moved to Fort Lauderdale is definitely living on the water, being
Oh,
able,
you're on the water.
able to
I love
park
that.
the boat right behind
Dude,
your
this
house.
guy,
that.
this
I
guy
love
is
that.
closing.
I love
He's closed $400 million in
Yeah.
transactions. You don't think he's living on the water with a boat? Of course, he's living on the water
toys,
in
man.
Fort Lauderdale with his boat.
You got to enjoy the toys.
Man, I know I made it when I have my boat and my house on the water right there. Like, what else would you need?
This is South Florida. That's the only things you need.
Well, guys, this is what REI Events is all about. It's about meeting with quality people, networking, and finding ways to grow together. Because of our REI events, we've had the opportunity to meet with him. We've had the opportunity to meet with him, join forces together, collaborate, share ideas, mindset together. So if you're not coming to our events, it's time that you start showing up. Our events are not a place where people just come to drink and party. Our events are a place where people come to get education, to meet quality individuals, and the majority of the people that are showing up to these events are making real money. How is it that you like to say, like if you're not in this event,
You're not really closing deals, guys.
That's right.
All right, guys.
take care.
Thank you.